A very warm good morning to all. We have with us today Ms. Shijimol AK, Infrastructure Modernization Specialist, Google Cloud, our alumni from 2005 pass out, and Mr. Sundar Pelapur, Customer Engineering Manager, Google Cloud. They are here to conduct a talk on disrupting the status quo, how cloud and artificial intelligence is shaping the future of our world. Without further ado, I welcome you all to this session.
I think it's super important for us to go and study. Right, a lot of this knowledge is there out in the world without any paywalls behind it. Right, so you can go and study, how Netflix was built. Right, it's super important and very, very, pertinent. Right, as you start your careers to understand some of these large-scale applications and how they're written. What are the design challenges that they encountered, and how did they solve for some of them? Right, and a lot of the technology that you see in use today is a result of having solved such problems. Right. I think it's super important for us to study that. So if any of you are interested, I think reach out to any of us. We'll be happy to send you links to articles that you can read, which will further your knowledge on these engineering topics, right? And I think it makes a super interesting read, which is a segue into why AI, why ML, and the new technologies that we're going to talk about. Back to you.
I think we have a hand raised, Sajja. Is there a question, Sajja?
I think you raised it for the coding part.
Oh, okay. Perfect. Okay. Alright, so yeah, I completely agree with Sundar. There is a lot of it is out of curiosity you can understand. This solution, say for example, a Netflix or a YouTube serving so many millions and billions of customers. It's not a simple feat. I would say it is an engineering marvel, right? How it is being done. It is good to learn about it as upcoming engineers. It will be a great learning experience to understand how it is done. Okay. Now, the hot topic, machine learning and artificial intelligence. So, I'll start off by saying that artificial intelligence is not about replacing humans, not about making robots, or like what we see in the Terminator, robots taking over. No, it's not any of that. It is about improvement of tools and bringing in more products, bringing in more productivity and complementing what humans can do, if I can put it in simple terms, right? It's all about making, science of making things smart. That is a simple term, okay? And machine learning is about teaching a computer to learn from data than from programming. So in programming, we write a logic and things happen according to the logic. Machine learning is slightly different. You teach a computer, you train a computer to learn from data. You show 10, say for example, pictures of cat, and then next time you show a picture of a cat and a dog, the system will be able to identify which one is cat and which one is dog, because the system is trained. I can put it very simply. Very, there are a lot of things that goes into it, but that is a small example. Yeah. Now, AI is a very vast topic. It is not easy to cover in a day or two or even 1 hour. So you will be hearing a lot of these terms when you venture out into it. So I'll just try to explain some of it, okay, so that if you get interested in it, you can go and read about it. So different types of AI components are there. For example, you will hear about natural language processing. So it interacts between computers and human languages. So for example, you speak to your phone and it gets there's a voice to text that happens, right? In a vernacular language you speak and it gets it gets typed out on its own, right? So that is a form of natural language processing. The machine is able to understand what you speak and able to convert it into data, right? Machine learning. Machine learning is also a subset of AI that involves different training models. So you can make predictions or decisions. So it may not be explicitly programmed, but it will help you make those decisions, based on the training data that we use. Computer vision. So it's again processing of images. So for example, you might have seen solutions like Google Lens. You point it at you point it at a image, and then it is able to tell you what it is or what it could be, what is the background, right? So that is again a small example of computer vision. Neural networks, again, a system of AI that is modeled based on human brain. It's a little bit more complicated. There are variety of applications that a neural network can do, like image recognition, natural language processing, decision trees, another form of AI application where you use a flowchart like structure and make decisions. Rule based uses rules. Deep learning, again, a subset of machine learning in which artificial neural networks, algorithms, all that are inspired by the brain's neural networks. We say that brain is the largest supercomputer, right? So it is based on the brain's neural network. It is modeled around it, okay? And we learn, and it learned from large amount of data, okay? So where is AI used? There are a lot of applications. There are a lot of areas. We can go on and on. Be it customer experience, supply chain, human resources, fraud detection, knowledge creation, right? Research and development. A lot of areas are being used, and it is making the life of humans simpler. Okay. Some of the use cases, I think I already touched upon some of them, and Sundar also explained in detail about areas where it is being used. For example, healthcare. Healthcare is one area. You might have recently read the news about Manipal Hospital, one of the biggest hospital chains, in an agreement with Google Cloud to enable virtual care services, so that you are bringing healthcare closer to the patient, creating a digital platform for them. They can order medicine, remote consultations. Most of you must have taken it, right? So that is all forms of AI, and you must have seen this virtual assistant. So virtual assistants is another very common example. Whenever you log into any site, you must have seen these boards, hi, I'm Eva, or hi, I am. Some names is there, and they'll come and, message you saying that how can I help. And they're designed, these chatbots are designed in such a way that they can answer the most common queries. You don't need a human there to do all that. There will be certain set number of questions that the bots can answer. And if they're not able to answer, they are redirected to humans. So you're saving some precious human hours there, right? Similarly, self-driving cars, something a non-driver like me is definitely looking forward to. That will help us in the future. Lot of such examples. Anything similar that you can think about? Any interesting example? I know you already shared some that you want to that you want to share here before we move on.
Yes, I have not come across what that answers the most common question: what's for dinner? It's an ongoing struggle, but nonetheless, if you look at chatbots, if you look at all the helpful AI assistants, I don't know if anybody. I think we're possibly a little older, from the others to understand this. But if you look at Microsoft Office, used to use this thing called Clippy, right? I think that's making a comeback with Microsoft's recent, sort of investments in OpenAI, right? Generally, AI, I think, is most useful. I think everybody, I think if I ask people to raise a hand for the number of people who have smartphones with them, I think the whole room would do that, right? The reason why they're called smartphones is because they have a certain level of machine learning, if not artificial intelligence, at least built in, right? So things like, time to leave for calendar appointments. So you put in a calendar appointment with the location, maps will tell you when it's time to leave based on traffic. Now, that's the border between machine learning and artificial intelligence, right? To be able to do that, you need two I'd say, categories of qualities, right? One is the ability to process a large amount of data and within a short period of time. Of course, our phones don't have as much processing power, so it's all done on the cloud, and the results are then pushed back to us saying, hey, this is time for you to leave based on traffic and whatnot, right? The other use cases are, we talk about healthcare, if we talk about things like manufacturing, for example, right? Where product quality is important. So based on a machine cycle time, whether it's a late machine or a large foundry, right? It can actually tell you basis input parameters, whether the job or the object that they're producing meets a certain quality standard or not, and how can that have implications on your supply chain, right? You need to sell that part ultimately, right? So all of these are actually real-world examples of AI level, in our daily lives that we don't see often, but it's there in the back trying to help us pushing boundaries, right? Back to you.
I just want to ask a question. How many of you here have used online shopping?
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody, right? So if you log into any of these online shopping sites, be it Amazon, Flipkart, have you guys seen that when you log in, you will see some recommendations saying that okay, you might like this, okay, based on your previous browsing history, right? And when you search for a certain type of apparel, for example, you will see similar recommendations below saying that you might also like this. Okay, so that's a very simple usage of AI. So the system is learning your shopping patterns. It can understand your shopping patterns and is using that data to improvise your shopping experience. Okay, and imagine you are shopping in a site which provides you this recommendation, which makes it very easy for you to find out what you're looking for. And in a different system where you have to go and search and find everything by yourself, which one would you prefer? For the system where you get everything within the first 5-10 minutes, right? Unless of course you're winter shopping and you just want to kill some time. But that is what it is. That is about improving user experience. It's not just in shopping sites. You can see it in other places as well. Okay, that is also AI. That's what we call as recommendations AI. It is very extensively used in a lot of solutions in a lot of industries. Yeah. Okay, so I'll just move on. Simple example: Google Translate. Okay, so it uses translation AI. It can translate. You need not know a specific language. You can just put in one language, translate it into a different language. Very simple example of AI.
Another example, CG, and I think any of your Android phones, Google Lens installed, right? You can just point it at a road sign or at a whatever, right, a bus stop, whatever, and do two things, right? And we talked about this. One is visual and image recognition, translating that into text, and the text can be then further translated into a different language as well. So there's a bunch of things going on in the back end, right? So for example, you travel to a foreign country, you don't know the local language, right? And I use this to look at the road sign and say, yeah, what does this road sign tell me, right? So it captures the image, then it understands that this is actually a text in, let's say, French or Italian or whatever, right? And then that is translated back to English for me to understand what it actually means. Essentially doing a bunch of things, which is image, text recognition, natural language processing, and translation all in one go, right? So that's a fairly simple, straightforward example, right?
Yeah. So I'm sure if you think about it, you will come across a lot of similar examples that you might actually be using, but not really realizing that there's an AI at play there, right? Okay, reality check. Now we talked about all good things. AI is really helpful, but the fact of the matter is, building a large-scale machine learning infrastructure is not an easy thing. Okay, while all these applications are fancy and very helpful, building them out is not an easy thing. Okay, it is time-consuming, it's expensive. Okay. So that is where this jugalbandi of cloud and AI comes into picture, why they are better together. So we talked about the features of the cloud, the flexibility it offers, how you can rapidly scale resources, right? And another important aspect of it is the hardware. So certain type of machine learning, say for example, require specialized hardware. Okay, so for example, there is a specialized hardware called tensor processing unit. It is a specific it is an application-specific integrated circuit. It is developed specifically by Google to accelerate machine learning workloads. Okay, the certain kind of operations that are required in deep learning, this hardware can do better. Okay, and they're optimized for this computation. So, if you have to build it all by yourself, build the chip, integrate it in your device, and then start using it, you can imagine how much time it will take. You have a great idea, you want to implement it. You need a TPU. If you sit and try to build everything on your own, you can imagine how much time it will take. Instead, you can just simply go and then access the hardware in the cloud, be it in Google Cloud or any other cloud, that has these GPUs and TPUs integrated into it. For example, GPUs for solutions that use image processing, they might need GPUs. There's a graphical processing unit that helps faster processing of images, right? So it is very easy to get access. It's like kind of democratizing the technology and making it available to anybody. Okay, so if you have a good idea today, there is no limit to what you can achieve because everything is available. Okay, for you to build out that solution. Okay, and that exactly is the case of several startups as we see today, right? Most of the startups are digital natives, as we call it in our official terminology. Don't have any infrastructure or anything on their own. They build everything on the cloud, right? And they use some of the latest technologies like AI, recommendations AI, translation AI to make that experience very engaging. Okay, so because it's very easy for them to, it's very flexible. You go and build out the solution. Many of the platforms provide the solutions out of the box. For example, the translation that I showed you, it is available as an API, and you can just simply call that API, pass on the data that you want to pass, and get the translation as readily available. You don't even have to build that software or that AI. Some of them are readily available. You can of course build your own AI algorithms, build your own AI software. But if you want to use something out of the box, that is also available. A lot of AI tools can be easily integrated into your application.